Hi, I'm Trent with Columbus Epoxy Flooring. Really quickly, just want to go over kind of a quick case study here. We're working on a smaller project, but these guys are going to be using these two spaces we're working on. The one we're standing in right now, these will be for some locker rooms. And then on the other side where we're working, they're going to be just doing a small office space over there. They're renovating that side. We're going to be laying a two-coat system for these guys. We're going to lay an epoxy base coat with our Epoxy 100, and then we're going to top that off with a 100% solids polyaspartic top coat. So we'll go ahead and jump into the project and kind of check out the process. First part of any floor that we do is always the floor prep. The guys have already gone through and diamond ground the whole area. The diamond grinding just kind of removes anything loose on the surface, paint, sealers, other things that might be present, so we can get back down to the bare concrete itself, open up the pores. So once we get ready to lay our prime base coat here, it's going to be able to soak into the pores of the concrete and get a good bond to the surface. Part of the next part of the process, the guys are in the background here just patching up any miscellaneous imperfections with an epoxy. The patch material that they're using is also epoxy, and they are just patching up miscellaneous dings, pits, cracks, things of that nature, just to really, like in terms of the cracks, just to make it a truly seamless surface. On this installation, the customer opted to fill the control joints. We don't always do it. We kind of actually encourage customers to avoid filling control joints on the concrete, simply because if you do fill those control joints as part of the installation on the floor coating, it could eventually start to crack at the surface, and you'll see kind of a hairline crack, or it could even open up more and become very unsightly and noticeable. But once the joints are filled, it does obviously make it a lot easier to clean. You don't have the groove there that dirt can settle in. It is also required on certain installations as well, like food and beverage settings, food and beverage processing, manufacturing, commercial kitchens, things like that, that require a highly seamless and sanitary installation for their production. After we let the base coat cure, with an epoxy, your base coat normally requires about 8 to 12 hours to cure before you can get back on it. Now that that's cured, we went ahead and cleaned up some of the excess flake that was sitting on the surface. To clean that up, we just scrape off the excess. We kind of blow it, with the leaf blower. It kind of helps to clean up a lot of the loose stuff that the scraper can't get. And then finally, once all that excess is cleaned up, we personally like to run a buffer over it. It just kind of helps to tighten up the surface a little bit, gives a nicer finish on the final product. And then once that's done, we go ahead and vac the surface to make sure, again, any loose flake, anything loose on the surface is cleaned up and tight. Really quickly want to touch on some of the benefits that the flake provides. It's not just for aesthetics. Especially this flake, it does help to provide a little bit more texture to the surface. Once you get into some of your smaller flakes, which the flake that we're installing for this, it's called a hybrid flake, meaning it's got a lot of different sizes in the color blend. You might get some 16th inch flake, 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch. It kind of gives it a more of a natural look in this instance, but also, again, that smaller flake helps to provide a little bit more of a gritty texture to provide for slip resistance and things like that in a working environment. And then another thing that flake provides as well is it provides a little bit more impact resistance. That flake combined with the coatings itself gives it a little bit more cushion, just to help provide against dropping items on it. The stipple from the flake, once the top coat's applied, it also helps to provide some abrasion resistance as well. It kind of breaks up the surface so that it doesn't scratch and get the abrasion as much as you would with just a normal flat high gloss floor. And now the guys are getting ready to lay the polyaspartic top coat. The polyaspartic's great. You can use epoxies and some other coatings like that, but in this environment, it's going to get a little more traffic. It's not a crazy amount. Your polyaspartics are also UV stable, so they're going to hold their color over time. They're not going to slowly start to yellow and maybe amber like you would get with an epoxy. So that helps. And then it's got a little better chemical and abrasion resistance as well compared to just like a standalone epoxy. So we have this project wrapped up. You can kind of see the finish that I'm just kind of standing on, kneeling over right here. It's just going to be much easier to clean for these guys. We got the polyaspartic top coat applied. Again, just with that smaller flake, it's going to provide them with a little bit more stipple in the surface, which is going to provide texture, but it still isn't sharp enough that it's going to be difficult to clean, which is the beautiful thing about this system. This color that we installed is called Shale. It's actually one of the newer colors that we've been installing in the last couple years, and it's becoming very popular. It provides a real natural look. It goes with a lot of different types of colors and blends, and just color schemes going on around us. Got a little bit of grays, tans, black, white, a lot of neutral colors going on that helped to really pull everything together. So I think it worked really well for this space as well. Now that we've got the top coat laid, normally we tell people to wait for about 24 hours on foot traffic and lighter traffic, and then 72 hours for full service, any heavy carts, heavy traffic, vehicular traffic, and things like that. I am Trent Martin with Columbus Epoxy Flooring. Thanks for checking out this video, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next one.